Rams running back. Two other things. So first off, Applebee's and Ash, our amazing bartender, Ash. Ash, I would like to pick up the tab for Kim, Joe, and John. Please, everything they have today is on me. And I'm not done. Because it's not going to cost me very much. Dollaritas for everybody. On me. Let's do that.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit.
Let's do that.
No, but seriously, how cool is this, though? Like,
it's unbelievable.
It's a city
it's great.
of brotherly love. This
is.
Showing
a lot
some
of
love.
A lot of love, my friend.
A
lot of love. This is awesome.
Fantasy
this
football
is awesome.
Pregame. This is
People
what it's
come
all
from
about.
all over.
This is what it's all about right here.
We're
all
having
right.
a lot of fun the next 2 hours. Let's
Again,
do this.
You're not here with us, but as usual, be a part of the show. Hit us with the hashtag #FFPregame. All right, guys, let's get right into it with our Week 7 storylines. Jay, start us off as usual.
Well, going to start by saying, firstly, Matthew's representing Philadelphia with the Jalen Hurts. Me and Michael, we're in Phillies gear. We love Kyle Schwarber in Australia. And Lawrence is wearing an Outcast T-shirt, which is
always representing
Outcast,
the A.
which is a group from Atlanta, Georgia.
Peace up, A-Town down.
My man said it works here, too.
Yeah. All right, we'll play.
Solid.
Here we go.
My storyline today is Jared Goff, who usually doesn't like the outdoors. He doesn't like the cold. He is a 3-point underdog in Baltimore, so the market doesn't think that he's going to play too well today and not have a good result. But I think Jared Goff is a better player now than he was a couple of years ago. I think he shows up today. I think he has a big day. Your ride or die, Matthew Amon-Ra, has a big day to do, and I think the Lions will beat the Ravens.
I definitely like him getting 3, for sure. Yep. Give me the Lions +3. Give me the Lions to win. Yeah.
Yeah, so my storyline, I'm going to take it to Kansas City. We got the Chargers here, who they need to get themselves a win, but the Chiefs, can they finally figure out who's that wide receiver one? We know that they got Kelsey. They've been struggling to find that top-tier receiver since Tyreek left, so whether it's Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, or Rashee Rice, that's who's coming up, so let's see what they do with that.
You know who the Chiefs remind me of? They remind me of my kid. Like, don't you have enough toys?
Right.
They just traded from Nicole Hardman. Now he's going to play today. It's like,
but they're not good toys, though. They're not really fun toys.
Never
Bargain
satisfied.
basement.
Never
like
satisfied.
plastic broccoli or something. Yeah, not fun toys.
Matthew, what you got?
All right, so tonight, obviously, NBC Peacock. It is Dolphins at Eagles. I'm a company man. Everyone knows this. And I think one of the big storylines, though, there's a ton of fantasy stars. But the one thing that we don't know about, really, is the Miami backfield. Everyone's starting Raheem Mostert. Raheem must start, friend of the podcast. But we expect to see the debut of Jeff Wilson Jr. tonight. What does that rotation shake out like? Again, you'll see some Savon Ahmed as well. But last year, it was really an even split between Mostert and Wilson Jr. And, some weeks it was one or other. We've seen Achane have a huge game. So I think the storyline of – because whoever is the starting running back in that Dolphins backfield has tons of fantasy goodness. Is it a split? Does Mostert hang on to the job? What happens when Achane comes back? That's my storyline, is what happens in the Dolphins backfield tonight.
Yeah, I'm starting Wilson myself. So we'll
look
be
at
right
you.
About that split.
Okay. Yeah, it's Bimageddon. So, I mean, right,
Do you prefer Bimageddon or Bipocalypse? Do you have a preference there?
I think both work.
Yeah.
They're both accurate.
Yeah,
I've been going with Bimageddon, but the Bipocalypse I liked as well.
Yeah.
For sure. That's actually a storyline. 6 teams are on a bye.
Not just the buys, but the injuries and the backup quarterbacks that are starting and how they affect some of those skill position guys. It really is. For me, my storyline is Deshaun Watson. Obviously dealing with the shoulder issue, been a very weird situation all around. Going through warm-ups, he'll get the final clearance from the team, on track to play against the Colts. But it's not just Deshaun Watson's return, but is he actually back?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, and shout out to our show league. I'm one of those people that was counting on Deshaun Watson as my QB1. I waited to draft quarterback in Superflex. Silly me.
Yeah.
But
how's that going for you?
Well, I'm 4-2.
All right.
Steve Smith's Jags. We're 4-2.
It is the best name in our league. I will give you that.
But when does Deshaun Watson actually return? Will we ever see Houston Deshaun Watson in Cleveland?
Well,
yeah.
I think the sneaky thing is that the last time we saw Deshaun Watson, he was that guy. Because against the Titans, before he got hurt, that's the best game he's played as a Cleveland Brown. So can he back that up?
But it was still, 289 and 2? You know what I mean? Yeah. No turnovers, right. So relatively speaking, better than he has looked in a Browns uniform,
And it's already been said that he probably won't be back to 100% this season. So what you're saying is, will we get Deshaun back? Nah, but it'll certainly, be better than what P.J. Walker's been able to put on the tape. But they've been getting by with this. So adding Deshaun Watson should make them better overall.
Well,
it'll be interesting.
Defense too.
Yeah, better. And it'll be interesting, Lawrence. Just so you know, did you know it's now been 9 straight games that Donovan Peoples-Jones has been under 50 receiving yards? 9 straight.
He's due. He's due.
He due for something. I don't know if it's a touchdown, a big game, but he due for something.
So that's one burning question.
Yeah.
Whether Donovan Peoples-Jones eclipses 50 yards.
Yeah, can he get there?
Let's get to some more burning questions here from Applebee's in North Philadelphia.
Born and raised.
On the playgrounds where I spend most of my days. Yeah.
Chilling out Max.
We can keep going.
That's all cool.
But it's time for some burning questions, shall we? Let's start with this particular game and focus on. There we go. I was waiting for that.
There we go.
We can't do burning questions without that.
No. Lawrence still not a part of the animation.
You on the last. We're going to sneak you in here.
They'll do something. Oh, no, they didn't.
All right. Sorry, Lawrence. Next time.
It was my hat.
Next time.
That graphics is
I gotta tell you
terrifying in
something.
Pennsylvania.
And I'm just going to own this right now.
The Dollarita?
The Dollaritas go down smooth. They go down smooth.
It's hidden. I can't wait to see in the next couple hours.
I'm not driving.
But
Where do I gotta go?
as we focus in on tonight's Sunday Night Football matchup between the Dolphins and the Eagles, I want to narrow our focus to Devonta Smith, your wide receiver 11, Matthew. Can he get things going in this matchup?
It is a great question, Michael. I appreciate that. Like, he's been under 50 receiving yards in 3 or 4 games, doing his best Donovan Peoples-Jones impression over there since week 3. He's wide receiver 57 on a points per game basis. Wide receiver 57. Here's the positive, though. Like, he's had 3 different games with 9 targets. He had the 11 targets last week. He had like 2 bad drops, which is not typical of Devonta Smith. My argument is, yes, he gets back on track. I believe he does. I think you start him. I think you have to start him. I'm at wide receiver 11, especially during Bimageddon or Apocalypse. I don't know how Devonta Smith doesn't, go off tonight. Understand, I'm in North Philadelphia. I am not.
What?
Am I?
What are you going to say?
What am I going to say? But in all seriousness, I believe in the talent. I believe in the over in this game.
Yeah.
Give me Devonta Smith as a top 12 wide receiver today.
First, can I just say, Matthew pointed out that he can drink as many Dollaritas as he wants because he doesn't have to drive. But he does have to go on Sunday Night Football, the TV broadcast.
Who's watching
tonight,
that?
Feels like, I don't know. I think some
Who's
people watch
watching that?
I think some people would. I think Devonta Smith will be fine. I think just believe in the talent. He got 11 targets last week. Some guys are just too good, too talented to fail week in, week out. Devonta Smith, I think he's just a bit in his own head against the Jets with that drop. He'll bounce back in a matchup. Miami's corners, quietly, they cannot guard anyone. They cannot defend anyone. They played one good team this year, the Bills. The Bills absolutely destroyed them through the air. I think Devonta Smith gets right.
And they're a little banged up, too, in that defensive backfield. Xavier Howard, he's questionable this week. But then when you look at it from a different perspective, other teams as wide receiver, too, like Mike Williams, Jerry Jeudy, and Gabe Davis all had okay games against this Dolphins defense. Devonta Smith, much better than those players. So, yeah, we will never lose faith in Devonta Smith, the Slim Reaper. Let's get it.
I like it. All right, let's keep it pushing. Matthew, you referenced earlier the question that's on everybody's mind, and it's what to do with that Rams backfield. I put a claim in this morning for Royce Freeman in a dynasty league, and I got him. I got him. I put my last $30 on him. That's a lot. That's a deep league.
That is so grim. Spending your last $30 on Royce Freeman.
I'm down bad and in shambles at the same time. You picked up in the show league Royce Freeman.
I did.
Earlier in the week, everybody was looking at Zach Evans as the guy. Now, come to find out, it's probably going to be Royce Freeman or Henderson, or a combination of the two. How you sort out this Rams backfield if you're touching it at all?
I think that's the key, right? Ideally, you're not starting a Rams running back today. Probably what the most likely scenario is what happens is that Matthew Stafford just throws it 50 times, right? This is a great matchup for him. But it's going to be a little bit by a running back by committee. It is clear to me, at least it seems, that Zach Evans does not have the confidence of Sean McVay and the coaching staff, right? That's just what it seems. If I'm starting one today, I'm going with Royce Freeman over Darrell Henderson. But that would be the order. I would rank them. This is how I ranked them, and you see it there on your screen. Royce Freeman, Darrell Henderson, Zach Evans. And I want to just come back on camera here for a second, Stephen. So I'm just going to, because I think this is important.
Okay.
Right? I will say this, right? And so everyone saw, like, Adam Schefter had a report yesterday. Schefter's pretty tied in. mean, do the math.
A little bit.
And by the way, Sean McVay has been on Schefter's podcast multiple times, so just whatever. You can sort of read between the lines there. But Schefter said, according to sources, that it would be Royce Freeman and Darrell Henderson in that order. Sean McVay is, as coaches go, fairly truthful. Like, I mean, there are some coaches where you're just like, don't believe a word they say. McVay is actually fairly transparent. And so I have some quotes here. These are some key quotes about the running backs when he talked about it earlier this week.
All right.
For Darrell Henderson, quote, he's done a great job of being able to quickly reacclimate himself back to a lot of the things that we've done. All right. Royce Freeman, I've been pleased with Royce. He's smart, conscientious. He's been ready for this opportunity. And then Zach Evans. Zach's a guy that's continuing to learn. I mean, it's a little bit like,
patience. Take your time on that one, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, hey, what'd you think about the blind date I set you up on?
Great personality.
Great personality. She was nice.
Yeah.
It just feels like if you read between the lines and after the Schefter reporting, again, it's going to be a little bit of a hot hand, opportunity here. It's a good matchup against the Steelers, who were 17th against the run over the last 4 weeks. They haven't been a great defense, although they're off the bye, so hopefully they're prepared for this. Again, I think I would rank them for today: Freeman, Henderson, and then Evans. I wouldn't mind. I would grab all of them if you can, but ideally you're stashing. I grab them in that order.
Okay.
But ideally you're not playing any of them, and we just sort of see how it plays out, because I do think Freeman and Henderson will both get opportunities today. And if Henderson, who does have that explosive speed, if he suddenly gets hot, then I think he could be the guy. It'll be a little bit of a hot hand approach.
Before you guys weigh in, dog, you weren't lying about these dollaritas.
Yeah.
Dude, they go down smooth.
No, I did. The dollaritas. The dollaritas is definitely hitting on this beautiful Sunday here.
And
in
Ash,
Philly.
I was serious. Dollaritas for everyone on me. She's over there working.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. 100%.
So
Thoughts on the Rams backfield?
So what was most interesting to me is that the point kept getting reiterated. It's not like the quote from Sean McVay just came out and that's what we working with. Shefty been like ODing with like the reports, and this morning was the 6 a.m. in the morning. I'm looking at my phone. It's like Royce Freeman, Darrell Henderson. So if it was Zach Evans, we would all be completely shocked, and then we could never trust Sean McVay again.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the problem is that whoever wins doesn't really matter that much because it is going to be so divided. I do think Zach Evans is going to get some run, which will just diminish the other guys a little bit. And the Steelers, it's not a great defense, but you'd think that they would be better out of the bye too. So I think, Freeman's the guy I think who's most likely to get a touchdown.
It feels like a slightly better version of the Cardinals backfield. Remember a week ago we're like, is it Keontae Ingram and is it Amari DiMarcado and whatever, and and so is it any of those guys? And then Damian Williams out of the blue. Again, if I had to place a bet here, my bet is that I would take the over on whatever Matthew Stafford's passing attempts prop is. And that would be the play here.
Yeah, I just like to, Matthew, your name is attached to Jalen Hurts. His name is attached to Amari DiMarcado. I'm Michael Thomas, and he's Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, how'd that work out? Because there's a lot more players that I talk about. How this happens?
That's a better move by me. When you've been around as long as I have, that's what you do. You attach yourself to the good players, and you give the crappy players to your co-hosts.
Let's attach ourselves to a much clearer backfield, more of a timeshare than a committee.
Yes, sir.
But very difficult matchup for the Indianapolis Colts today, going up against a Browns defense that's off to a historic start through 5 matchups. Zach Moss did not go away in the return of Jonathan Taylor, but is this the week that Jonathan Taylor, with that new contract, starts to kind of separate himself and reclaim this backfield over Zach Moss? If that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen.
Okay.
One guy's making $42 million, one guy isn't. And so the way it's trending is Jonathan Taylor came back, he played 10 snaps. Zach Moss got the majority of the work. Last week, it was really almost equal, right? I mean, so they basically, he played 43% of the snaps. This is Taylor, and got 50% of the running back touches. So really kind of an even 50-50 split basically between the two. My guess is that this week it'll be 60-40 Taylor, 65-35. So, yes, I do think that's where it's headed in terms of, obviously, Taylor overtaking Moss. Having said that, in an ideal world, I want no part of this. The offensive line of the Colts is a little bit beat up. The Browns are the Browns. Jay and I have talked about this. Jay says it's the best defense in the NFL. I agree with him. They allow the 6th fewest rushing yards per game to running backs. They have the 2nd highest success rate against run plays this season. They've allowed one rushing touchdown to a running back this entire year. Maybe one of these guys falls into the end zone successfully, but I just
got to get there first.
Again, it's by Mageddon, so you probably don't have a better chance. But I have Jonathan Taylor at running back 18. I have Zach Moss at 24. I think Taylor is a low-end RB2, and Zach Moss is a touchdown-dependent flex. And if I could avoid it, I would.
Yep. I think this is the week Taylor takes over the backfield, but I don't think it matters because this Cleveland defense, statistically, this is the best defense of the past 5 years. And here's the other thing. Cleveland defense is getting unlucky. They're not getting turnovers at the moment. When they get turnovers, then it's properly all over. So, because it's by Mageddon, by Apocalypse, you have to start Jonathan Taylor. He's Jonathan Taylor. But I wouldn't expect a massive game from him.
Well, you mentioned
Matthew gets into his second chicken tender.
You mentioned
for a while, huh?
You mentioned the Browns not being able to get turnovers consistently yet. Well, they're going up against Gardner Minshew today, who threw 3 of them interceptions last week. So we saw what the Browns defense was able to do to the 49ers. So that's what makes it even more scary. But like you said, having the 6 bye weeks, the injuries, you're definitely there's no way Jonathan, I would love to see a fantasy team right now that has Jonathan Taylor on the bench today, especially when we saw the trend in the snaps go from 80% from Zach Moss down to 50%. Like Matthew said, I'm with him going, it's probably going to be something like 65-35, 70-30. If a guy like Jonathan Taylor can get that 70% snap share, then he's up towards, 20 touches. Then even with the bad matchup, you got to force yourself to like it.
All right. We've been talking about Bamageddon, by Apocalypse. Let's talk about a team coming off a bye. That's the Green Bay Packers. Time to rest up, get some guys healthy, specifically Aaron Jones. He's on track to play. I'll shout out Christian Watson, who's off the injury report altogether. So let's start with you here, Lawrence. Does Aaron Jones return? Does it boost your confidence in this Packers offense overall, going up against the Broncos? An offense that's kind of, it's flashed, but for the most part, left a lot to be desired so far.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to have faith in him for one reason. A.J. Dillon hasn't been able to get going in Aaron Jones' absence. Then when you look at the fact, guys like Brian Robinson was RB1 the week he played the Broncos. A-Chain and Mostert was RB1 and RB2 when they played the Broncos. Khalil Herbert was RB8. Breece Hall, RB3. So I'm feeling pretty good. The Packers offense needs him. So considering the backs that were able to become top 10 running backs that week playing the Broncos, I like him in this matchup today.
Aaron Jones has 14 carries on the season. He just hasn't been out there at all.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, so he just hasn't been part of this offense yet due to health, due to weird usage at the start. So you would think that coming off the bye, this is the week that he starts getting usage, but we just haven't seen it yet.
But free Aaron Jones.
Free Aaron Jones, baby.
Exactly.
They gonna free him today.
Hashtag free Aaron Jones. Look, if ever there was a week that we need Aaron Jones back, it's this week. Broncos allow 39.2 fantasy points per game to opposing running backs. They've allowed the 3rd most receiving yards to running backs. Remember that week 1 where Jones had a 15% target share. So this is an offense. I'm excited to see what this Packers offense does. They're coming out of the bye. Christian Watson is not on the injury report. He hasn't been on the injury report. The expectation is that Jones will play. Luke Musgrave has been out there as well. This feels like the first game that the Packers will have had their entire offense out there, healthy, ready to go. I think it's hard to – we're going to talk about Jordan Love coming up a little bit later in the show. But I just feel like we haven't seen the Packers offense as it was intended. And I'm excited to see how it does against the Broncos today, Michael.
All right. Well, we're not on bye, but we are going to take a break.
Yes, sir.
And continue with, I would say, what is already the best show in show history.
100%.
Yes, sir.
It's the
Yes,
best
sir.
fantasy football pregame
By the
ever
way-
had. Thanks to these folks
I'm already-
in North Philly.
So I just want to let you know.
We
Jay
need
said
more
my
dollaritas at the
dollaritas
table.
4-5. I'm one down already. I need another dollarita. I need number 2.
We're going to keep drinking. Keep sending us those questions. We'll see y'all in a minute. Fantasy football pregame coming to you from Northeast Philadelphia. Applebee's, we're being spoiled, not just with love from all these. Does anybody put on for their city like Philly? Nobody does. We're getting spoiled with love. We're getting spoiled with goodies here from Applebee's with dollaritas. We all tipsy, so do not hold these predictions against us. We are not responsible for what we're going to say the rest of the way. Yes.
What's interesting?
There's a microphone right there for you. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Told you we was tipsy.
You can tell.
Told
There you go.
In fairness, this is my first time on TV, and I'm a dollarita and a half in. They chanted Eagles, not Phillies. Phillies up 3-2. Right? I mean, I'm just saying. Phillies going to the World Series, you guys? Yeah! I think so. I think Phillies in the World Series.
See, 11:26. I cannot wait to see you at about 12:55.
Let's go.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
I did.
Yeah. Right. Speaking of, liquor.
Yes, sir.
We haven't taken our shots yet. Y'all want to drink with us? Y'all want to drink? Okay. Y'all gonna get your drinks with you. Y'all gonna take some shots with us when we do shop a shot. Y'all know how this game goes. All right. Predictions we feel most confident in. Jay, start us off.
I don't think this is a shot. This is not a shot.
That's yours?
This is not a shot, right?
No, yours
I'm
is
not
right
going to
there.
drink this whole thing in one.
You just want them all, don't you? You want all the Dollaritas. Yeah, that's okay. You good. I trust you. Yeah, you got cooties. You good. All right.
Yeah.
All right. My first
My
shot, I'm
brother
going to
from
say.
another over here.
I'm going to say the Browns. They beat the Colts. Myles Garrett faced the best defense in football. He'll be a Defensive Player of the Year favorite in the morning.
He's not now?
No, it's Micah Parsons.
Of course.
Because his name is Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Way to play to the crowd there, Jay.
Exactly.
All right, Matthew, what you got?
Matthew Stafford finishes as a top 8 fantasy quarterback today again. It's a great matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are a bottom 5 pass defense over the last month. Again, with running back uncertain, I think he throws it 50 times. Top 8 quarterback day coming for Matthew Stafford.
All right.
Drink up.
All right.
Lawrence,
You
you're
know,
up.
I got to go with my boy Lamar Jackson. 350 total yards.
Ow.
4
Let's
total
go.
touchdowns against the Lions.
Oh, he winning the
right?
week.
Geno Smith lit up the Lions earlier this season. Since then, they faced Desmond Ridder, Jordan Love, Bryce Young, and Baker Mayfield. Lamar is none of them. He gets it popping today and gets back in the MVP race. Cheers.
Man.
Let's go. I appreciate that.
All
that.
right.
Cheers.
Remind me never to go after Lawrence. I'm going to say the squeaky wheel gets the oil. In this case, the squeaky wheel gets is it the oil or the grease?
It's the grease.
I'm going to say oil in New Orleans.
Squeaky wheel doesn't get the oil.
Lubrication.
I mean,
the squeaky wheel gets the lubrication of some kind. Okay.
By the
in
way,
this case, do not. My God.
I'm just saying, poor Danielle, our producer, was been like, if you'd asked her, hey, one of us on air says the word lubrication, who is it going to be? I was the odds-on favorite. Just whatever.
You're minus 600.
Minus 600. DraftKings just took a bath on that one. All right.
These Dollaritas, man, because I'm telling you, you out of pocket sober. Now you got Dollaritas in you. Man, this is about to be fun today. The lubrication in the form of targets.
Okay, sure.
Give me 15 targets for Devontae Adams. Even coming from Brian Hoyer. Devontae Adams said, give me the ball.
Yeah.
They're going to get him the ball today.
100%.
They're going to get him the ball today.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
right.
Massive game coming for Devontae Adams.
Jay,
I'm
you're
with
up.
you.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
I'm going to say Puka Nacua. He gets back on track today. He goes over 64.5 receiving yards. Everyone's worried about Cooper Kupp being back. He's played in 2 weird games. Just haven't been throwing the ball much. Puka Nacua is real. He will go off today.
I like that.
I
Top 8
agree.
quarterback for Stafford.
Puka
Nacua is
Nacua.
going to eat. All right, Matthew, what you got?
All right. Breakout game. Today is the breakout game for Jackson Smith and Jigba, okay? DK Metcalf's not going to play. He's officially listed as doubtful. I'm just telling you right now. He's not playing today. It's obviously a great matchup against Arizona, and last week was the first week that JSN played the same number of snaps, ran the same number of routes, basically, as Lockett and Metcalf. No Metcalf there. He's got a full-time role in a great matchup. 15 fantasy points, basically the equivalent of 100 yards and a touchdown for JSN. His breakout game happens today.
All right, I like it. Cheers.
All right, cheers. Yeah, so I'm going to go with now, Eagles fans, you might not like half of this, right?
Come on. You can do better than that. What was that? What are we doing? JSN breakout game. Come on. Come on.
Can we get my man another Dollarita here, please?
I got you. I got you right here. I got Jalen Waddle scoring a touchdown. He scored in his past 2 games, but I also have Devonta Smith scoring a touchdown today as well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's had 2 of his last 3 games. He's had at least 9 targets, and in this game, he will catch those passes that he dropped last game. So I got Jalen Waddle and Devonta Smith both scoring a touchdown in a game that's got an over-under of 51.5.
Yes, Matthew.
Will you do a Waddle right now, a Waddle touchdown
Let's get it.
celebration?
Oh, snap. No, not here.
Sorry.
Right here. Let's go. Lawrence Jackson. Come on. Let's go. Come on.
It's only half the bet. Remember, guys, Devonta Smith. Yeah.
Come on.
There we go, baby. Slim Reaper.
Far be it from me to ever reference any of my teams
Yeah, sure. Never.
in this show.
Never.
So this is me selfishly manifesting.
What obscure third-string running back is getting 3 carries today?
Second-string running back who is questionable, but he is going to play. Craig Reynolds is going to piss off Jahmyr Gibbs managers who think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to carry the load, which he will.
Wow.
Reynolds scores 2 touchdowns because I need him to.
Whoa!
Hey, thank you.
Whoa!
He's definitely
Who else
going
is
against
down
Jameer
bad?
Gibbs
Who
today.
else
That
is down
guy
bad?
back there.
100%.
You're starting him. Yes, Craig Reynolds in the house. Let's go. Hey, there you go.
He traded Gibbs. There you go. All right, fair enough.
All right,
All right.
I'm up.
All right, last shot.
My last shot. Aaron Nola throws a complete game shutout tomorrow night at the World Series, baby.
There you go.
I also think the Broncos win as underdogs. Yeah, there you go.
Well done.
Well done.
All right, Matthew, you're up next.
All right. Brandon Ayuk finishes as a top 5 fantasy wide
I like
receiver
that
this
thinking.
week.
I like that
Debo's
thinking.
not going to play. Minnesota's a bottom 10 pass defense over the last 4 weeks. Ayuk always eats, especially with no Debo. Massive game coming for Brandon Ayuk. He's going to be a week winner this year. There you go. That's my shot. I'm 2 sips away from finishing Dollarita number 2.
Do we have any Bijan Robinson fantasy managers in the building? All right, I got
Who's got
Bijan
Bijan?
Robinson. Bijan Robinson, 75 rushing yards and no rushing touchdowns. Now, the Buccaneers have not allowed any running back to run for over 55 yards, but those running backs are Alexander Madison, Alvin Kamara, Rashad White, and Khalil Herbert. They're not Bijan. He has not scored a rushing touchdown this year, and the Buccaneers have not given up a rushing touchdown to a running back. He'll get that today.
I like it. Bijan too good.
Cheers.
He's too good.
Let's do it.
Don't keep
Cheers.
him down.
All right. I'm going to say that my man Jahan Dotson goes from 0 to 100 real quick.
All right.
0 last week. 1
We're in
target,
Penn State
no
country.
receptions. Yep. 1 target, no receptions. This week, give him 100 yards and a touchdown. He can't be this bad.
No.
He can't be. He's too talented. This is not what we had in mind for him. Shout out to Curtis Samuel, but this is Jahan Dotson's day against the Giants. Which
I
we've
like
seen him
it.
torch the Giants before.
1,000%.
All right.
1,000%.
I appreciate it. All right. Before we get to inactives, let's get some questions in. First and foremost, shout out to the hashtag FF Pregame. Appreciate y'all patience. Addison, Madison, or Jacoby Myers needs one. And then, okay, we're getting bonus questions in now. Zach Evans or Jeff Wilson.
So first off, I think Jordan Addison is the answer here. I don't want Madison against the San Francisco 49ers, but I do think you can throw against them. I think game script will work for Addison as well. I'm nervous about Jacoby Myers. I know the great matchup with Chicago, but I'll just say very quickly, again, backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams is going to get fed. My expectation is it's a lot of Josh Jacobs as well. We all like Michael Mayer actually to keep breaking out. I'm nervous. So anyway, Addison would be my answer there. And number 2 is see if Royce Freeman or Darrell Henderson are there, but assuming that's your choices, I'd rather Jeff Wilson.
Yeah.
We've seen him in the NFL. He's on a better offense.
You stashing Zach Evans.
I'm just telling you, it feels like McVay is doing everything to say like she has a nice personality. I mean, right, when it comes to Zach Evans.
Yeah. No, I would agree.
Zach Evans.
I'd agree.
Zach Evans down bad. It's not
Right.
great for Zach.
We got another viewer question here. Bench
Or
one.
he has a nice personality, by the way. I don't want to discriminate on
Bench
either
one.
side.
Rasheed Rice, George Pickens, Cortland Sutton in half PPR. Bench one.
I'm benching George Pickens, honestly, for
Yeah.
me. Yeah, you
Yeah.
heard me. No, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, like, again, I don't think Sutton's matchup is great, but I also don't think it's awful, and I do think he seems to be Russell Wilson's go-to guy. I'm just nervous about Pickens. Deontay Johnson, it's a small sample size, but week 1, when Deontay Johnson was active, he had a 15% target share. He had a very little target share as well. The Rams have been very good against the run. I'm sorry, they've been very good against the pass so far this year as well. So, I mean, I mean, in a week in which like there's whatever, so many teams on a bye, I have Pickens at wide receiver 30. I guess you could argue Rasheed Rice, bench him, just because of the inconsistency. But I don't know. I don't have a great feeling about Pickens today.
I think the thing with Pickens is that he's going to be wide receiver 2 on that team. Rasheed Rice, just don't know. But I prefer Rice in a nutshell, but I think Pickens has a higher floor.
Rice needs one for flex. Jacoby Myers, Zay Flowers, Rashad White, Chris Godwin for full PPR.
Kind of like Zay Flowers. You know what I mean? I'm at wide receiver 17 this week. my guy Lawrence Jackson over here tells me
Got
Lamar's doing 4 touchdowns. Zay's got to catch at least one of them.
He's going to get one. Got his first one last week. Yeah, I definitely like him here against the Lions. You got Jacoby Myers, too, with Brian Hoyer there, quarterback. That's going to be a little bit of a struggle there. We like Jacoby Myers on, every other week, but I don't know about today. But, I would ride with you with the Zay Flowers there.
It's Myers or Flowers for me. I think it's kind of a toss-up, but I'm buying Flowers, I think, today.
Yeah.
All right, we have an in-person.
Oh, look at this.
viewer
What's up?
question.
Sean from Philly.
Fantasy
What's up,
football
brother?
legend. Nice
Brother,
T-shirt.
Baseball legend.
2 questions for you guys.
Okay, what do you got?
So we all know running backs have been a lot of issues with the injuries, right? So
Yes, sir.
Deonta Foreman or Zach Moss today?
I'm going with Deontay Foreman. He's gonna get more of the workload and a better matchup. So I would prefer. I know it's gross to be starting Deontay Foreman, but that's the week we live in. I'm going with Foreman. All right.
Yeah, my other question, Cortland Sutton or Romeo Doubs?
I'm kind of tempted by Romeo Doubs here. I think Patrick
Matchup.
Surtain is going to be on Christian Watson. So kind of like Romeo Doubs there. I don't know. How do you guys feel?
Yeah, I like Romeo
like
Dobbs.
your
People
logic.
forget that he had 25 targets in 2 weeks, Romeo Dobbs. Then he just disappeared last week. I think that was just weird game, and also the fact they wanted to get Watson back involved. If Watson's shut down by Surtain, I think Romeo Dobbs, who's shown he has the talent, I would go Dobbs there.
Hey, I didn't hear your name. What was your name? I'm sorry.
My name's Sean.
Sean.
Hi,
thanks for
Sean.
being here, man.
We appreciate you, Sean.
Thank you.
And
Thank
here's
you so
Adam.
much.
Adam has a
All right,
question
hang
for
on.
the field.
Adam.
All right.
Hey, Adam.
All right.
It is.
All right.
It is.
Indiana
it is
Jones is
October
in the
22nd.
house.
Yep.
We're near Halloween.
Yep.
That's right. Snakes? Why does it have to be snakes?
So here's my question.
Yes, sir.
I can start. I need to sit one of these wide receivers. I have both Pittsburgh wide receivers, Pickens and Deontay Johnson coming back. I also have Jacoby Myers and Devontae Adams. Rashee Rice is the guy that I'm right now sitting. Is that the right move?
I think so. I think so. Of those 4, yeah. You have Sutton. You don't have Sutton. You have Pittman and you have all right. You have Pickens and
Deontay.
Pickens and Deontay.
Pickens
You're
or
definitely
Rice.
starting. It's Pickens or Rice. Again, we just talked about it on the other question. I wouldn't mind benching. I think for you, I'm benching Pickens. The only difference would be is if you're down, like if you played against somebody that had Alvin Kamara or Travis Etienne, and you need to swing for the fences. But I just feel like I feel like you're going to get one. If you needed more of a floor, you could play both Steelers wide receivers, and you're guaranteed to get one of those guys probably goes off. But I don't know. I wouldn't want a lot to be invested in Kenny Pickett in that offense, who's looked so brutal so far. So I go Rashee Rice. I think I would start, and I'd start him in place of George Pickens again because I'm nervous about this offense.
I think a tiebreaker there can be who do you trust more, Kenny Pickett or Patrick Mahomes?
Right.
As well, and just going with the better quarterback when I think the receiver talent is pretty similar.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
man. Good
Thanks,
luck,
Indy.
man.
Thanks for coming.
All right, one more.
There you go. Oh, look at this.
Hey guys, Bill.
So, dog.
Hey, Phil. What's
you
up,
doing?
Phil?
Bill.
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 Sorry.
Not even close. Sorry. I'm $2.5 $1 in. All right, what do we got?
Blame it on alcohol.
Yeah.
Josh Downs or Jalen Warren in the flex?
It's a good one.
Man.
Good one, Bill.
That is a good one. Because I will say this, Warren, it was basically a 50-50 split for Warren and Najee Harris prior to the bye. And I do think game script works in their favor. Rams are a 3-point favorite here. We do like Josh Downs. We know there's a connection between him and Minshew. You said full PPR?
Full PPR. And I'm playing this guy right back here.
You're playing that guy?
You playing Sean? Okay.
Correct.
All right. And y'all
I'm gonna
still
go. I'm
sitting
gonna go.
together?
Thank you.
I'm gonna go Jalen Warren and not feel good about it. Where do you guys stand?
I go Jalen Warren as well. I don't want anything to do with the Cleveland defense in any shape or form if I can
Yeah.
avoid it.
We saw Amari Cooper have a good
this is
day
what they're
against
playing
their
for.
Cleveland defense, but that's Amari Cooper.
Sean's the defending champion in the Any Given Sunday League. Yeah,
Correct.
it's pretty good.
It's
Pretty
now
good.
called Thunderdome. We
Yeah,
renamed
they
it.
asked me to sign it before the show. There you go. That's what you guys are playing for. Jalen Warren, Lawrence.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jalen Warren. Just like you said, going against Cleveland. Although Amari Cooper was able to have a good day.
Brandon Ayuk.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, but yeah, definitely that not Josh Downs, go with Jaylen Warren. He's got the receiving upside out the backfield.
Have to agree.
What about Najee Harris?
Not Najee Harris is gonna fall in for your touchdown.
All right, Jay Croucher, you are you our resident Najee Harris expert?
Yeah, I don't know why my good name has been attached to Najee Harris.
See how you did that?
Long. Yeah, no, big game for Najee today. Big game.
No. Poor Jay got stuck at the end of a running back run, drafted him in the 6th round of our show league, and ever since he's been the Najee Harris guy.
It's 11:42. Inactives are in.
Yep.
So if you're partying with us and you haven't been paying attention, let's get you caught up. You already knew Justin Fields was out. Deshaun Watson is up. Daniel Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo, David Montgomery, and, of course, Rashawn Johnson all down. I mentioned my man Craig Reynolds, who's going to snipe a couple of touchdowns from Jahmyr Gibbs. Sorry. He is up, as is Kareem Hunt. No Deebo Samuel for the next 2 games with a hairline fracture in his shoulder. Hunter Henry is active with his ankle injury. So no real surprises there. Everything was to be expected. Go ahead, Matthew.
I was going to say is, you know who's kind of an interesting streamer is Tyrod Taylor, who I thought honestly looked as good, if not slightly better than Daniel Jones last week.
Way better.
I'm trying to be nice here. I mean, look, and my Commanders, as much as I love them, you guys know, they're a bottom 3 pass defense for the last month. So I do actually think Tyrod Taylor has a nice game here. I think he's a viable streamer this week. You and I both like his over on the passing prop, which is like 193, well over. Like, we like the alt line at 250, which is plus money.
So we'll come back to streaming quarterbacks in a moment. Yeah. But just as far as the running backs go, we've covered the Rams backfield. I've shouted out Craig Reynolds. Any of these other names you like? I mean, the fact that Jaleel McLaughlin is still so widely available is surprising to me.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I think here's what I would say. I mean, I think if you're looking long term, we know Kyron Williams is out for at least the next 4 weeks. He's officially been placed on IR. So I wouldn't mind grabbing Royce Freeman and or Darrell Henderson. In leagues where I had some bench flexibility, I actually grabbed both. And let's see, one of these guys is going to emerge today, and you'll have a starting running back on a good offense. But if you need someone today, Latavius Murray, Damian Harris isn't there, so it's really just James Cook and Damian Harris against the Patriots in a game in which Buffalo is favored by almost 10 points.
Lawrence?
Yeah, and Jaleel McLaughlin, he's a top 30 running back in fantasy right now, despite being in a 3-man rotation. So he's an interesting name that's who's still out there, just like you said.
All right, let's go to wide receivers. We just had a question about Josh Downs a moment ago. What other name jumps off this list to you, Matthew?
Well, I mean, in terms of downs, right? 13 or more fantasy points in 3 of the past 4 games. He's getting a north of 20% target share with Gardner Minshew under center. I've been talking about Wan'Dale Robinson for quite a while. He's had 3 straight games with 5 or more receptions. He's earning more and more targets. Again, he's a favorite of Brian Daboll. They drafted this kid, and obviously you can throw against the Commanders as well. And I guess the last one, would be Josh Reynolds, who very quietly has had at least 50 receiving yards in 5 of 6 games this season. He's like the anti-Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Whenever there's an opportunity.
Well, he don't have enough names for me to like him. If
That's
his name
true.
was like Josh Reynolds Johnson, then I'd be all in
Wait,
on him.
Lawrence, where are you on
JLJ.
Wan'Dale Robinson? Because there is an apostrophe. So
I
it's,
was just
so
about to say, yeah.
Wan'Dale Robinson.
Exactly.
You can sort of
Yes,
talk
sir.
yourself into 3 names.
100%. And
Let's-
the thing about him is they're manufacturing him the target, so we love that.
Yes,
so back
sir.
to the QBs. You touched on Tyrod Taylor, the tight end run. We even had a passing mention of Michael Mayer, who's really coming on these last couple of weeks.
Season highs in targets and snap rate last week. This was a guy that we talked about this with the Connor Rogers, our host on Fantasy Football Happy Hour, who does such a great job pre-draft. He had him as his number 1 prospect coming out. He was not alone.
Yeah.
A lot of people did.
Yeah.
And so the Raiders really like what they have in Michael Mayer. They're increasing his snaps, and you couldn't ask for a better matchup than the Chicago Bears. Again, you wish it was a different quarterback than Hoyer, but and they may get up big, and Adams is going to get fed. But I think Michael Mayer has top 12-ish upside the rest of the way.
Most definitely.
I think you can make a strong argument you'd rather have him than Dalton Kincaid the rest of the way, just because him and Knox are basically splitting snaps and fantasy production.
Yeah, and I think as well, when you have a limited quarterback, you're more concerned about that guy for, wide receivers running deep routes.
Yeah.
For tight ends with short stuff, I think Hoyer should be fine. Hey, Matthew, I got a viewer question for you. It's
Yes, sir.
From me again.
Yeah.
So I'm playing.
By the
I'm
way,
playing Michael in the league.
I appreciate that you're watching the show.
Yeah, and I'm watching. Yeah,
Thanks.
Yeah. Watching you down. Is that number
Perfect.
4?
This is number
skip
3.
the line.
But again, Jay Croucher set the line on Fantasy Football Happy Hour at $4.50 Dollaritos.
Yeah. A lot of money came in on the under.
Yeah,
and
a
now
lot
it's
of money.
Gonna get crushed.
Before you ask,
They go
ask
down
your viewer
easy.
question,
I'm just telling you.
They too easy. I was just going to ask, are my words slurring? Or it
listen.
feels that way. Are
Listen,
y'all words
he
slurring?
keep.
It's like, are
just-
my words slurring?
No, you're good.
No, okay, I'm okay.
You're good.
Mentally, I feel like they
I'm
are.
just gonna, Lawrence. I need a favor from you, my friend.
What's up?
Lawrence and I have been out. You and I have been out in Vegas together.
Yes.
We've gone out. Lawrence and I. But if I start trying to make out with Jay, I need you to.
No, see.
Hey, save that for pickup lines.
Well, I'm just.
Save that for later.
Jay and I
in the
had
show.
her one night in Buffalo, and if I just, if I have one more
Hey,
Dollarita and I just start making googly eyes at him.
If it's Jay, I'm gonna let that ride. I'm stepping to the side.
Lawrence, you're supposed to have my back.
Any other time, I got you. But if it's Jay,
Hold on. Don't forget your question.
Yeah,
You
my
want to ask
question.
it now? Go ahead.
So-
hold on, Thomas. We're coming. Go ahead.
What do you
So I'm
got?
playing Michael in our league this
Yes.
year. So block your ears, Michael. But
Give him the wrong answer.
Latavius Murray or Kadarius Toney? Who's starting in that?
Latavius Murray.
Yeah,
I just think he's got the better chance of getting into the end zone here. Again, I think it's going to be mostly a split between him and James Cook, especially in a game in which the Bills should be up pretty significantly.
Okay. I
Okay.
agree.
Thomas needs one for
All right.
his flex and PPR. Josh Palmer, JSN, Wandale Robinson, or Jaleel McLaughlin. Thanks, love the show. Skull, we appreciate you. Keep those questions coming to the hashtag FF Pregame. What you got, Matthew?
Look, I already said I think this is going to be a JSN breakout game, and so I think it's close. I'll just tell you right now, I have Josh Palmer at 28. I have JSN at 29. So, I mean, literally right there. I'm going to go with – I'll say this. It depends on sort of where you are and you look at your matchup. If I need floor, I'm going with Palmer. If I need upside, I'm going with JSN. Right? It just – Palmer has an established role in this offense. Like, and I think he would have – I think the narrative of him would be even bigger if – he had that 50-yarder that got called back last week in the primetime game against the Cowboys. So I'm going to go with Palmer if you need floor, if you need upside JSN. But like I said, I have Palmer one spot higher.
Yeah, watching that Monday night game, it felt like Josh Palmer was a massive part of that offense. Like bigger than he should be, but there's just no one else there. It's Keenan Allen and Josh Palmer.
All right, full PPR pick 2, Zay Flowers, Ramondre Stevenson, Aaron Jones, or DJ Moore. Shout out to the YouTube fam.
Shout out to the YouTube fan. I mean, Aaron Jones is the no-brainer. Let's start
Definitely
there.
Aaron Jones.
I'm gonna say DJ Moore as well. I just think he's too talented. Tyson Bagent makes his start. Again, super small sample size, but Tyson Bagent, when he came in last week for Justin Fields, 43% target share for DJ Moore. Now, he only had 15 dropbacks. So, again, like super small sample size, but Tyson Bagent is an undrafted Division II free agent, who's making his first career start. If you were that kid, what are you doing? You're looking for DJ Moore.
He didn't throw more touchdown passes than anybody in college football history for nothing.
Exactly. Thank you, Michael Smith. That's right. Free teabag. That's right. Teabag is what we call
We done had
Tyson Bagent. His
we done
nickname
had
is
lubrication and teabag on this show today. What we doing?
Yeah.
Staying on brand is what we're doing.
That's
Staying on
right.
brand.
That's right.
Yeah, teabag, like Lipton. And so what we're
See, now I got to go pick him up just for that reason. I got to go see if he's available for
We
that
love
reason.
teabag here on the show. We are a pro teabag show.
Let's get to this viewer question. While we still
Tyson
have
Bagent
viewers.
is what we mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sean's got something for you.
Sean's got a question. All right, what's up, Sean?
Well, it's very weird that my nickname is Teabag and
Okay.
on the close of the segment. But a quick question.
We probably don't want to hear that story.
No, and
And
it's
a commercial break.
No problem. Question, and it's disgusting because I want to vomit asking the question.
Yes, sir.
The question is Craig Reynolds or Jeff Wilson Jr. against my Eagles?
I think the answer is Craig Reynolds.
I have
Sorry,
David
sorry.
Montgomery, so he's
Ideally, it would be Craig Wilson.
David Montgomery's bench. So basically, it's
Hey,
Craig.
I'm a
Sean,
couple
you
Dollaritas
think you're
in.
down bad? I'm starting both.
Craig
Okay.
Wilson.
I mean, like,
It's a tough one.
it's a tough one. We have no idea. Jeff Wilson Jr. He could get half the workload. It's also his first game back since the season. It could be a Jonathan Taylor 10 snaps kind of thing. Craig Reynolds, we feel pretty good about the fact that he's probably it's gonna be Jahmyr Gibbs, but Reynolds should probably get at least 10 touches. He's both, and if they get in close, he's gonna get the touchdown opportunity. So he's got the better chance at scoring a touchdown, I think. It's Reynolds
That's
and
my thought process. That's why he's starting.
there you go. Yeah,
But
hold
it's
your
tough.
nose
Yeah,
and
it's
hope
tough.
for the best. Thank
All
you.
right.
Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Got
Sean.
another one. Hey,
There we go.
Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, Jennifer, what's up?
how are you?
are
What's going on? There we go.
Jets fan right here. Jets fan.
Jets
All
fan.
right, yeah.
All right.
These people in here probably don't like you.
Long-suffering Jets fan.
Sure.
So I'm very happy.
Well, you said
Wow.
Jets fan. It's sort of redundant when you say long suffering, but yeah, I got it. I'm with you, Jen. All right.
Long-suffering.
Yes. Okay.
All right,
what do we
so
got?
I'm in a PPR league.
PPR league.
And in flex position, Amari Cooper or Jacoby Myers.
Uh,
Quarterback situation.
by the way, I don't
right
think you're in a
now.
bad spot. I'm going to go with Amari Cooper there.
You see
I
what
think
he did
it's-
versus the Niners?
I will never doubt Amari Cooper again.
right.
It doesn't matter. It's PJ Walker. He had a decent game with DTR as well. So
There you go.
we expect Watson's active. He's playing today. So I think Amari Cooper.
And with
But
Las Vegas,
Yeah.
their situation with quarterback may
Exactly.
not be. Yeah.
there you go.
All right.
Jen. Thank you.
Thank
Jen.
you.
You bet. You bet. All right.
Thank you.
So, all right. Thank you guys for the questions. Keep them coming to the hashtag FF Pregame. I'm going to tell you what. I've always wanted to do this segment drunk.
Dude,
You
I'm
know?
buzzed.
So let's see if we
I'm
can keep
buzzed.
up. Let's see if we can keep up. This is going to be a challenge, all right?
I'm buzzed.
Want to live your life, go rapid fire while inebriated. Okay, time for proper shot. Y'all ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do it.
All right, let's do it. Jay, Stephon
A lot of
Diggs.
people say I gamble better drunk. Yeah.
I feel you.
I definitely
Stephon
play pool
Diggs
better drunk.
receptions, over under 6.5.
I'm going to go under. Bill Belichick likes to shut down top options, so I think it's going to be a Gabe Davis day today.
All right, Lawrence, Justin Herbert's passing yards, over under 265.5.
That number's actually come down. I'm going to go under. He's hit this number against Minnesota. Sorry, people, but he's only hit this number versus Minnesota. And the Titans, horrible pass defenses versus Dallas, Las Vegas, and Miami. He averages 208 passing yards a game.
That was way too concise and articulate. You ain't been drinking enough.
Also,
You ain't
Yeah.
been drinking
I'm
enough.
just-
You over there
Someone
nursing
get
me.
Lawrence some shots.
Yeah, that sounded too
Hey, look,
smart.
I am quietly $3 in, just like Matthew.
So difference
I
is you
just
can
don't
hold your
like to
liquor.
brag.
You can hold your
You know
liquor.
what I'm saying? Yeah,
okay,
I'm
you can
cool
hold it.
with
Okay,
it.
all right.
You know?
Lawrence
okay.
has got the glasses on. Lawrence is smart.
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
All
He's
right.
got the big sunglasses.
I'm
He's
over
ready.
here struggling just to say the numbers. All right, Matthew, Puka Nakua's receptions, over under 4.5.
Over. Give me the over. Look, since week 3, Pittsburgh has a bottom 5 pass defense. He's hit this number in 5 or 6 games this season. The only game he didn't was week 6 when he had 4 receptions. Give me the over on 4.5 receptions for Puka Nacua. Again, I think Stafford throws it a ton today.
Jay, Josh Jacobs rushing yards, over under 72.5.
I'm going to go over. Just the matchup with the Bears, their favorite. Josh Jacobs won the rushing title last year. Like, he's getting insane volume still. He'll finally break out today. Big game for Josh Jacobs.
Lawrence, you called a big game for Bijan Robinson earlier. Yards from scrimmage, over under 84.5.
Yeah, well, he's averaging over 98 yards from scrimmage a game, so I'm going to go over here. Alexander Madison and Craig Reynolds are the running backs who didn't hit this against Tampa Bay, but you know who did? Another good running back, DeAndre Swift. So give me the over on Bijan there.
Matthew, Aaron Jones in his return, rushing yards, over under 54.5.
I'm going to go over here. Broncos. Yeah, of course. Look, free Aaron Jones. Free Aaron Jones. Broncos have allowed over 100 rushing yards to a running back in 3 of the last 4 games. Game is in Denver. My expectation is Aaron Jones back. They want to take pressure off Jordan Love, who's feeling a lot of the heat because of the struggles of this offense. He gets a lot of run here. Give me the over on 54.5 on Aaron Jones, who I have as a top 10 play today.
Jay, back to your top storyline. Jared Goff, passing yards, over under 242.5.
I'm going over. I believe in Jared Goff, Michael. I believe in him.
And I believe in Harvey
Yeah,
Dent.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I believe in him as a man, as a quarterback, as someone who's going
As
to
a
go
man.
over. His
As an
passing yards
assistant.
top today. Yeah, I've already attached my name to Najee Harris and Michael Thomas, so let's throw Jared Goff in there as well.
Yeah.
That's the trifecta. Big game for Jared
Lawrence,
Goff.
Mark Andrews, receiving yards, over under 53.5. On the other end of that big game you're calling for Lamar
Yes,
Jackson.
and this number has went up. The Lions have given up the fourth most yards to tight ends this season. They're giving up 62.5 yards a game to tight ends, and those are guys that are not Mark Andrews, so I'm going to hit the over on this prop here.
Matthew, got to ask you about your man Sam Howell, combined passing and rushing yards, over under 248.5.
I hate taking so many overs, to be perfectly honest, but he's had at least 290 passing yards in basically 50% of his games. Giants are a bottom 12 pass defense. I'm going to take the over, especially because he can hopefully get you 20 rushing yards or so as well. So because it's the combined passing and rushing yards, Give me the over on 248.5.
Jay, Austin Eckler's rushing attempts over under 12.5.
I'm going to go under here. They're 6-point dogs. I just don't think they're going to be in a position where they can run the ball. He'll get his work as he always does, but it'll be through the air.
Lawrence Raheem must starts rushing yards over under 52.5.
You still must start Raheem, but he'll get it through the receiving game. I'm going to go under right here. Only one running back has hit this, and it was 53 yards. That was Kyron Williams. They're stuffing the run. Then you got Jeff Wilson coming back, so I'm going to take the over, on the rushing yards.
And Matthew,
them dollar readers might be hitting me
there you
too
go.
now.
Matthew, lastly, Devonta Smith's receiving yards.
And also, in all seriousness, with the Dollaritas, like Applebee's not paying me. I'm dead serious.
Right.
Applebee's not paying me.
Yeah.
They go down smooth. Like, if you want to get hammered for $5, like the Dollarita.
The thing is
The
they don't taste that alcoholic, but there's alcohol.
No.
Probably.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It goes down smooth, and you're like, oh, this is nothing. And then you're like 2.5 in, and you're like, oh, man. Jay Croucher looks good.
Come on.
Pick up lines.
All right, sorry.
Matthew, Devonta Smith receiving yards over under 57.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go over here. I hate the fact that I took all these overs, which means, I'm doomed. But the fact of the matter is he's averaging over 104 yards in his 2 home games. Obviously, the game is in Philly tonight. Thank you very much. The 11 targets last week, they need Devonta Smith to be better than he has been. They will make a concerted effort to get him right. We talked about him. I am ranked 11th. Give me the over 57.5 receiving yards for the Slim Reaper.
All right, DraftKings Sportsbook is, of course, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. And today, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Instantly download the app and use promo code Barry when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. We're going to break, and we need it in a big way. Tua, how would you describe the place you are right now professionally?
Fun and happy. That's how I would explain it.
It looks like it. I mean, I don't know that many quarterbacks who can hold their own in the choreographed touchdown celebrations that you do. But, like, you look right at home in the end zone dancing with them. I know you got handshakes with all the receivers, you know?
Yeah. Well, a lot of it we do on Fridays. So we try to work on our dances or whatever on Fridays. Not all the times I'm in it, because sometimes it's those guys are so far down the field that they're doing it already, and I'm like,
fair.
all right, just let me walk to the sideline. It's a joy to be out there with those guys.
There you go. Our own Michael Smith talking to Tua Tagovailoa as part of the Dolphins and the Eagles tonight, 7 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. Football Night in America. We'll see that interview. You can also catch the full thing on the NFL on NBC YouTube page just before the Dolphins-Eagles take on each other tonight on NBC. You know, it's interesting, Lawrence and Jay.
Yes, Matthew.
Literally 2 days ago, Michael Smith was in Miami interviewing Tua Tagovailoa, and now he's in Philadelphia talking to us. Life comes at you fast.
It does. It does. This is a lot of fun. I'm telling you. My reaction time is a little slow.
We gonna have to call you Dollar Rita Mike now.
Exactly.
I'm telling you. I was like, Matthew, take this.
Literally,
take this for me.
literally, think about Michael Smith's career arc this week. He's on Amazon. Of course, he's part of the Amazon Prime Thursday Night Football pregame. He's doing that and the postgame. Then he flies to Miami.
Yeah.
So he was in New Orleans as part of the game broadcast on Thursday night. Then he flies to Miami to interview Tua.
The MVP favorite.
Yeah, exactly. And then he flies to Pennsylvania to talk to us schmokes.
Yes.
You know.
But over Dollar Rita's.
But over Dollar Rita.
There we go.
Yeah.
This is the highlight of the week by far. But the goal, cheers, brother. Good
Cheers,
to see
brother.
You. Good to be with you
Yes,
guys.
sir.
Love y'all.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to start telling y'all I love y'all and whatnot, man. This is too much.
See what them Dollar Ritas do?
I'm telling you, man.
I'm making out with Jay Croucher at the end of this game.
Hey, now, Matthew.
You're gonna do that anyway.
Right.
Jay Cracher. He done said that 2 times now. If he said a third, you might want to go off the set, buddy.
Jay
The goal,
Pittman.
the goal though, tonight.
When we make out, it will be respectfully. Just so you know.
The goal, though,
Be
for
very
tonight
respectful.
is to for the Eagles to limit the amount of end zone celebrations on the part of Tua and his skill position teammates here. But let's dive into the rankings. Where do you have Tua in your QB ranking this week? Let's talk about my new BFF.
I'm at QB3. You see it there on your screen right there. I think Tua
But
has
look who you got at QB1 though.
I know. Jalen Hurts, my ride or die. Come on. I think we see a ton of fireworks tonight. Obviously, everyone's starting Jalen Hurts. Everyone's starting Tua. But again, I think he has a monster game here against an Eagles defense that is allowing 39 pass attempts per game. That's 4th most in the NFL. They also allow passing touchdowns at the 7th highest rate. Tua leads all quarterbacks in yards per pass attempt this season. Give me some Tua Tagovailoa. He's got that Michael Smith karma after talking to you.
You know?
That's right.
I think Tua. Hey, don't yell at me. Yell at Michael. Yell at Michael. He'll be available to be beat up after the game.
Yeah.
After the show.
Lawrence, Geno Smith.
I'm $3.5 Dollar-Ritas in.
Still 3.5? I think you lost count.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay, you look good.
That's 3 times.
I'm glad I only look good after $3.5 rates. That's the takeaway there.
Geno Smith here, only quarterback 22 on a points per game basis this season. However, he's going against these Cardinals who they're a bottom 5 team against quarterbacks in terms of fantasy. My only worry about Geno Smith versus the Cardinals is that they get up like the Rams did last week and you don't get a lot of production through the passing game. We saw that with Matthew Stafford only throwing 24 passes. So if they get the run game going, it won't go well. But if they, you hit up DK Metcalf early, Matthews, he likes
Although
Jackson.
he's not playing.
Metcalf's not playing. So, Bear, you like JSN for the breakout game.
Yes, sir.
So we like Geno Smith easily as a top 10 quarterback play this week.
Jay, talk to me about Brock Purdy coming off the worst game of his young career, but he gets Minnesota.
Yeah, and I think the thing is yes, Brock Purdy just had the worst game of his career. The week before that, he had the best game of his career. So I'm still in on Brock Purdy. I think just with the weather, with that defense, he was just rattled. He couldn't couldn't grip the football in the rain. It's like, have you ever held a football in the rain, Brock? What's going on here? It looks like me throwing the ball. But I do think that he will get right against the Vikings defense that blitzes a ton. You blitz a ton against the Niners, that's trouble. Also, looks like McCaffrey will play, which is big news for Brock Purdy. That'll help.
But he is missing Deebo Samuel on the other hand. All right, Matthew, you feel like talking about your quarterback, your QB1, Sam Howell?
Always.
Right outside the top 10.
Forever.
Right outside
I'm
the
a
top 10.
QB 11. It's a great match with the Giants, as over the last 4 weeks, New York allows passing touchdowns at the 6th highest rate. Last 3 weeks, future Hall of Famer Sam Howell averaging 21.1 fantasy points per game. He's had at least 18 fantasy points in 4 of the past 5 games. On the season, Michael Smith.
Yes.
He's a top 12 fantasy quarterback
Sure is.
here. So, yeah, give me future Hall of Famer Sam Howell as a top 12 play today.
I benched Trevor Lawrence on Thursday night for Sam Howell.
I like the call.
I'm with you,
We'll
brother.
see how it works out.
Lawrence, we've heard a lot from Jay on Jared Goff. How about you? Where do you come down on Jared Goff
Well, what
today?
I noticed there is that for this particular week, Barry has him at quarterback 13. I have him at 14 myself. Now, he is quarterback 6 this season on a points per game basis.
Thank you, Lawrence.
However, I got you, dog. However, he's going up against the Ravens, who are the best against quarterbacks in fantasy this season. We know the Detroit Lions have a nice offensive line, but you're going up against the Ravens defense, who's tied with Buffalo for the lead in sacks. And think about this too. Goff is averaging 270 passing yards per game. His over-under today, 238.5. So just keep that in mind. Maybe temper the expectations, because if he blows the expectations out the water, then we might be talking about Goff as an MVP candidate.
It's coming.
I think so too. I think people still they're dealing with the home road split thing, and they're like, they're on the road at Baltimore. Baltimore's not Baltimore. I mean, that defense isn't at. They've got some injuries. I think Jared Goff does not. I think just because he struggled there in L.A. and I don't think Jared Goff gets the respect he deserves.
Definitely not.
And I love the 235. You said
238.5.
238.5. Give me the over on DraftKings on that one. Are you kidding me?
Yep, no, 100% agree. I think with Goff, everyone's just so locked into the fact that the Rams moved on from him and they had a bad offensive line and he struggled behind it. A lot of quarterbacks struggle behind a bad offensive line. Now he's in a perfect situation for himself, and he's just gotten better as well. Jared Goff's 28 years old.
Yeah.
Feels like he's 34. Jared Goff is still young. He's the #1 pick in the draft. People forget that as well somehow.
And by the way, he missed Brandon Cooks by about that much in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
If he hits that pass, they beat the Patriots, and I think the narrative on Jared Goff is entirely different. Literally that much. Like it was like maybe a yard, right? I mean, you know what I'm talking about, Michael.
Absolutely. Very under. I don't know how he can still be underrated given what he's done really the last 2 years. You know what I mean? He's been really good for long enough to get past the Rams moving on. But here we are. Jay, back to you.
By the way, he's for the season.
Yes. What is
Jared
he?
Goff is the 6th best quarterback in fantasy.
Yep.
For the season, I mean, like,
and that's with a lot of injuries in
but
the skill position. They put up 42 points with no Amon-Ra
Lawrence
St.
did just say that a minute ago, but that's fine.
I'm drunk.
Dollaritas, baby. Dollaritas.
You know what I can't wait for? Dollarita goggles.
Dollarita goggles.
Dollarita goggles going to be popular.
That's gonna go on.
I don't listen when I'm sober. So the idea that I would pay attention now.
You keep yelling at me, Matthew. You're not going to get to kiss me
and
later.
it's also worth repeating.
Drink up.
He's 6. He's 6 in quarterbacks this year. All right, Jay. Baker Mayfield coming off a rough game against that Lions defense.
Yeah, it wasn't a great game from Baker. He'd been pretty good up until that point, though. I think with an easier matchup, he will get right. He's still overall having a very good season. It's just the shine is off after he was so poor against the Lions. But I think Baker's a viable quarterback, and certainly in Superflex leagues, he's a must-start. All right, just chowing down the chippies.
You stopped talking too early for Michael.
You did.
He thought
Sober
he
me
was
would
about
have
to
never grabbed
You
fries
By
on
the
camera, but it's like my impulses cannot be controlled right now.
I started talking without my microphone again. I mean, I'm legit buzzed, guys. I'm like, I'm a happy drunk, though. It's good. It's all good. Don't worry, NBC. I promise not to get anyone but myself fired.
All right, we're talking about running backs now. Starting with, give it up for DeAndre Swift.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
What a pickup for the Philadelphia Eagles. What a pickup. Shout out to Howie Roseman. Man, what a pickup.
You know, we talk a lot. I got asked the other day on a podcast, who's the fantasy MVP? And for me, fantasy MVP is somebody that's not only putting up huge production, like a McCaffrey, but also somebody that you get for really cheap. So
Like
in
a
terms
bargain.
of just value, because
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's a combination of both production and value. And like it's hard to beat somebody like Puka Nacua, who is absolutely free, or Raheem Mostert, who is free, Devon Achane. But DeAndre Swift, who is kind of left for dead in drafts this year, is got to be on that list as well. He's my running back 6 this week. Since week 2, he's the 7th best running back in fantasy. He's averaging almost 19 fantasy points per game. He's had 5 straight games with 17 or more touches. And what's exciting now is what the anti-Swift argument earlier in the season, both in the preseason, first couple of weeks, is, well, they just don't throw to the running backs. You know, like he's a passing down running back, and they don't throw to the running backs. They're not using him in the passing game, and yet over the last 3 weeks, he's had at least 4 receptions. He's got an 18% target share. We expect a very high-scoring game today. I have DeAndre Swift as running back 6.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Lawrence. Oh, we got a question. All right, so Nate already had ETN play,
Bragger.
but has to bench either Swift, Jonathan Taylor, or Bijan. He also has Jeff Wilson Jr. Who should he roll with?
I'll tell you, Jonathan Taylor is your benching. Like, I don't want any part of, as we talked about, you don't want the Browns defense. You're not benching Swift, and I don't think you're benching Bijan Robinson as well. So to me, Jonathan Taylor, who, again, talked about splitting carries with Zach Moss in a very tough matchup against Cleveland, he's who I'm benching as well. Nice snag with Jeff Wilson Jr. Nice humble brag that you already had ETN play.
Hey, Stephen, let's go out of order here for a second. So we're talking about Bijan Robinson. Jay, I know that's who you want to weigh in on in this segment.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bad few weeks for Bijan Robinson quietly. He's getting dragged down by the Desmond Ridder experience, which drags a lot of people down emotionally. I think with Bijan, the thing is, though, is that the talent is still there. The offensive line is still there. I believe in him the rest of the season. Let's go Phillies. Yeah. Very in tune with the Bijan Robinson point.
Kind of on an island by yourself over that one. Got to time it out. Got to talk to the fans.
Oh, man, just out there.
Bijan gets right. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we like Bijan Robinson and the Phillies.
We also like Raheem Mostert, Lawrence.
Yeah, so going to the other running back in this Dolphins-Eagles matchup, again, I said earlier I don't like the him hitting that over, that 52.5. The Eagles' defense only allowing 49 rushing yards per game, 2 running backs. He'll have to get it through the receiving game. We saw Breece Hall do it that way last week to the tune of 8 targets, 5 receptions, 54 yards in the touchdown. Mostert's got 2 receiving touchdowns this season. So if he wants to keep up that top 10 pedigree, it's going to be tough. The Eagles getting back big Jalen Carter there in the middle, who missed last week. So it'll be tougher to run, but he should be able to get it in the receiving game.
All right, let's get into or beyond the top 10 rather. Starting with Jerome Ford, Matthew, who like Kareem Hunt, nice outing, but Jerome Ford really closed that game for the Cleveland Browns against a tough San Francisco defense. I probably learned more about Jerome Ford last week than I have all season.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it sort of went under the radar because Kareem Hunt got the touchdown last week, so people weren't really paying attention to the fact that Jerome Ford had, a really nice workload. He's now had 3 games as a starter. He's averaging 15 touches. He also has an 11% target share, and very little of that has been with Deshaun Watson under center. Colts have allowed 7 rushing touchdowns to running back. That's tied for the 3rd most. They're banged up on their defensive line as well. I think this is a big Jerome Ford game today. I'm at running back 15. Again, it's by Mageddon, but I think Jerome Ford has himself a day.
Lawrence, a lot of people are expecting this to be a big Jahmyr Gibbs day with no David Montgomery.
Yeah, and let's just we could feel that way, but, temper it a little bit. The last time Jahmyr Gibbs got this type of run when Montgomery was out, he did okay. 17 carries, the 80 yards. That was good for running back 19. He didn't score. The Ravens, while they're not the 2000 Ravens, they're 13th against running backs in fantasy. But again, another opponent that allows receiving yards to the running back. They're giving up over 36 receiving yards to the running back. We know Jahmyr Gibbs, that's a big part of his game, is being a receiver out of the backfield, running in the slot sometimes. And guys like Jalen Warren, Tajay Spears, Zach Moss even scored a receiving touchdown against this Ravens defense. So look for it to come that way for Jahmyr Gibbs.
And Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, look, I think it's going to be a tough day for Jonathan Taylor against the Cleveland defense. And he has the Saints defense next week. It's not easy, but I do think he's a guy who's going to eventually, he will show up in the playoffs for you. He's going to win some leagues, but it's going to require some patience.
All right, time to go beyond the top 20. Matthew, talk to me about my man Jaleel McLaughlin. I'm thinking about starting him this week.
Look, it's obviously a committee in Denver, and you've got a decent amount of Javonte Williams, but still, Jaleel McLaughlin now has 3 straight games with 9 or more touches. 40% snap rate last week, which was a season high. It's a decent matchup with the Packers as Green Bay allowed the 4th most fantasy points per game to opposing running backs. We know, and Michael, I know of anyone, you know this well. You spent many years in New Orleans. You covered the Saints for the Times-Picayune early in your career. You know Sean Payton, when he finds a little pet, when he finds a project, he locks onto that guy.
Yeah.
He likes
Look
to
at
show
my
off.
undrafted guy.
Look at my undrafted guy.
Yeah.
Well, this year, it's Jaleel McLaughlin.
Yeah, no, big time.
Yeah.
So
he's my running back 23.
Viewer question from me.
Okay.
Jaleel McLaughlin or Royce Freeman or A.J. Dillon?
I'm going with Jaleel McLaughlin. I just think
cool.
guaranteed workload. We know Jaleel McLaughlin's getting 10 touches.
Oh,
Royce
and Zach Moss. Same? This is my second.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I think Jaleel McLaughlin, you know you're getting at least 10 touches from McLaughlin. They've used him some in the red zone here. Royce Freeman could be 3 touches. He could be 17.
Yeah.
Like, wherever I can, I try to avoid variance in fantasy football unless I absolutely need to swing for the fences because, like, you know, in one league, stupid producer Damien started. Yeah, this is a true story, Michael. Stupid producer Damien started Travis Etienne
can't even defend himself.
and Alvin Kamara against me.
Oh,
Man,
I'm down like 60 points.
sounds like smart producer Damien to me.
Poor Damien.
No.
He's in the room, but he's not mic'd up.
No, he's not mic'd
Turned
up.
out the
Yeah,
offer to
yeah,
wear
yeah.
makeup this morning.
Yeah, no. He's going to win the match. He's going to lose his job, but he's going to win the matchup. So it's just, you know.
Hey, Nick, where you at? You at the bar?
I'm at the bar. Wait, where's
This
Nick?
bar or another bar?
Which one's Nick?
Nick.
Where's Nick?
Come here, Nick.
Where are
Nick,
you at,
where you
Nick?
at, dog?
Hey,
Nick
Nick.
says he's out here. Nick, wander
Hey,
over
Melon,
here.
get your suit on. Where you at,
Come
Nick?
here. Where's Nick? I want Nick over here.
Okay.
All right.
Nick wants to know, how about Zach Moss versus Jeff Wilson? I'm in that same category. Oh, there you are.
There you go.
Wow.
How many dollaritas have you had?
How many dollaritas have you had?
That's a great shirt. That's a
All
great
right, there
shirt.
you go.
All right, so
Fly
you want
Eagles
to know
flies.
about
He's got
Zach
the Kelly
Moss.
Green.
Way to go. This is how you multitask. Nick is.
I have Jonathan Taylor, so I might start. I know it's.
You don't want to start both, so it's Jeff Wilson. You don't want to start both Colts. You don't want to put
But-
all your eggs in that basket,
Wait,
right?
come up here. Come here. Come here, brother.
First of all, this is how you multitask.
Yeah,
Be
come here.
at the bar and hit the hashtag.
That's how you know he's ready to go.
All right.
He ready to go.
All right, what do we got? Now ask it for real. What do we got?
All right, so I have Jonathan Taylor, I have Zach Moss, and I have Jeff Wilson Jr.
So you're starting Taylor, I assume, and
Yes.
you're asking who for the second.
Yes.
Right. I actually think Moss in this case, just because
Yeah, it ain't crazy.
Jeff
That's a
Wilson,
tough defense,
because
though,
I
man.
get it, but one of them's going to do something, and you're in a tough spot. I just have no idea what to expect from Jeff Wilson Jr. tonight. It literally might be 3 touches.
Against our Birds defense.
Against your Birds defense.
Against our Birds defense.
Right.
Go Birds!
I mean, you're sitting there in the Kelly Green. You're in the throwbacks. Like, that's bad juju to start. You know, a backup running back against your boys. I think that, again, by the way, Eagles top 3 run defense over the last 4 weeks. Right, exactly. So it's not like you have a great matchup for Wilson Jr. I think Moss and Taylor, and that way you're guaranteed to get the Colts running whatever it is, right? And you're hoping one of them falls into the end zone.
Here's
There
the
you
other
go.
thing, Nick, is that the Colts are probably going to score a touchdown today. If they get into the red zone, you watched Gardner Minshew last year. They're not going to have Gardner Minshew go up against Myles Garrett with the game on the line. They will try and be conservative and run it in. One of those guys should get in the end zone.
So yeah, I like having both guys, and at least you'll probably get one running back production from both guys. So it's going to be lower, but whatever. It's by Mageddon.
I'll take it.
Is what it is. All right, brother.
Hey,
Thanks,
way
man.
to hit the hashtag
There you
FF pregame
go.
from
Look at
behind
you.
us. Way to go.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you, brother.
Cheers.
That's right.
All
Buy
right.
that guy a dollarita. On
All
me.
right. Who are we on? I think we were supposed. Are we on receivers already? We skipping the receivers? Saving time. You want to go to
Look,
receiver, Steven? You do whatever you.
I'm drunk, so you have to keep track of the show.
I know. I'm trying, but yeah. Okay. We got wide receivers now. Okay. Wide receivers. Okay, guys. Don't be mad at us, but we're talking about Jalen Waddle now, Matthew. Let's talk about Jalen Waddle.
Listen,
well, it's not like you go Waddle like this guy did earlier.
Did you see Lawrence's Waddle?
It was pretty good, actually.
I thought it was pretty damn good. I'm not denying that. You see it there on your screen. He's my number 6 wide receiver as well. Last 2 weeks, a 33% target share. The Eagles, as awesome as the Eagles are, they do allow the second most touchdowns to wide receivers. They are allowing the 4th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. You know, and I do think that they're getting Darius Slay back, which is great. But if ever there was a team where matchups don't matter, it's Miami. Waddle and Hill are so fast. They scheme those guys so well open. Waddle, I know it's been a bit of a slow start to the season for Waddle based on where he was drafted, but I'm at wide receiver 6 tonight. I think he has a big game.
Hey, let's get right with this crowd here, Jay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Matthew's wide receiver 4, A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I think AJ Brown's the most underrated player in football.
Yes. There you go.
You're welcome,
There you
Sean.
go.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. Sean.
Oh, no.
There you go. Can he talk through that thing?
That's actually AJ Brown. That's AJ Brown.
I have a must-win this week. I'm playing my son-in-law. I have Jacoby Myers and Michael Pittman in my lineup, full PPR. Would you play any of these guys over either one of those?
Matthew's rattled.
Jerome Ford.
This question complicated
I've
as
completely
hell.
lost track of this question. I'm talking to a man in an Eagles head. Somebody write this down so I know what
an
I'm.
email.
Alexander Madison, Jonathan Taylor, or Jerome Ford. Would you play any one of those 3 over Pittman or Jacoby Myers?
Would I play
Alexander
Jonathan Taylor, Madison,
or Jerome Ford, over Pittman or Jacoby Myers?
I think I might play Jerome Ford over Jacoby Myers. I am nervous about Brian Hoyer. We've talked about this. We think this is a squeaky wheel game for Devonta Adams. I think he's getting 20 touches. I think they'll be able to run the ball effectively with Jacobs as well. I'm nervous about Myers a little bit this week. I do think Ford has a big game against a beat-up Colts defense as well. So, yeah, you're definitely starting Pittman. I'm not interested in Taylor. And who was the third running back?
Madison.
No.
Yeah, against San Francisco. No.
We're good.
Do you guys disagree with any of that?
Nah.
Props for tracking that. Right answer.
Yeah.
By the way, what's your name?
Paul.
Paul,
Paul the Eagle.
You sound exactly like I would expect a person in that ensemble to sound.
Yeah. Give it up for Paul, baby.
Paul, I got to know. So a couple of questions here. Okay. Where did you just buy this this mask today, or have you owned this?
I'm embarrassed to say that I own it.
Okay. What was the occasion that made you buy this?
It was a very good deal at a yard sale.
Can't beat that.
So it's a used head.
One is for $3.
It's priceless.
No,
priceless.
I've done a lot worse for $3 in my life.
That's 3 drinks today.
It's $3. There's no question about it. Now, I'm looking at your hand there. I notice you're married.
I am.
Right, you are. You're married. How long you been married?
Long enough.
Right.
Long
What did
enough.
10 years.
10 years. What did your wife say when you showed up with a $3 eagle head?
Oh, his wife's here.
My wife
His
is
wife's
over
here.
there.
Come on.
She's not hiding either.
Come on over. So, Paul, I'll kick this coverage. Way to
Paul,
go,
absolutely. Look,
I'll kick the coverage.
you kicked your coverage, Paul. I don't even know. Don't even take off the hat.
It don't even matter.
I'm just. Tell me your name. Genevieve, I'm just going to tell you right now, you're too good for him. I already know that. That much is clear. What was your reaction when he showed up with his head?
I encouraged him.
There you go, 2 peas in the pod.
Was not.
You guys are the perfect couple. You might be the best wife of all time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
Paul and Genevieve.
Way to go.
Paul and
Way to go.
Genevieve. Thanks for coming out, guys. Thanks for coming out.
My favorite
That's
part
awesome.
is the head's kind of turned sideways a little bit. That's my favorite part of it.
She was like, I encourage you.
I encourage it.
That man married well.
Soulmate, absolute. I think if you're an Eagles fan, you do have to marry a special person.
Oh, dude.
Like, it's got to be somebody that really gets you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
But the question is, where do we go from here?
Tight ends?
If we're not,
Where do
if we're not going to break, I guess we're going to Puka Nacua.
Puka. We ain't talking about Desmond Ridder today. Puka Nacua, right? Bad game last week. Only 4 receptions, 26 yards. Season low wide receiver 56 in week 6, but still saw the 7 targets, which was a 29% target share. Now he gets to go against the Steelers, who are the 5th worst against wide receivers in fantasy this year. Got him back in my wide receiver 1 rankings.
Hey, Steven, you want to keep going wide receivers? Let's do it. Zay Flowers, Matthew. I know you're high on him this week, right?
Yeah, we answered a question about Zay Flowers before. Look, last 4 games, he's got almost a 30% target share, 28% target share. It's a good matchup against the Lions, who have allowed at least 13.5 fantasy points to a wide receiver in 3 straight games. My guy, Lawrence Jackson, promised me 4 touchdowns for Lamar Jackson today.
Let's go.
You got to figure at least one of them is going to Zay Flowers, who I have as wide receiver 17. It's a really good offense, and he is the clear number 1 wide receiver on this team.
Hey, Jay, back to you, another rookie receiver, Jordan Addison. What do you think about him against the Niners?
Yeah, I think he'll be okay. And I know the Niners' defense is scary, but Amari Cooper had a great game against them. And the Niners, they've got a really good defense. It's not like a Cleveland Browns level of scary defense. Addison is going to get peppered with targets. He's the guy in that offense now. So I think Jordan Addison will have a big day.
Speaking of Amari Cooper, Lawrence?
Yeah, Amari Cooper, only wide receiver 29 in points per game, but we've seen now that he could do whatever he wants with whatever quarterback. He done played with DTR, PJ Walker. Now he actually gets Deshaun Watson back. Right, week 6 versus the Niners, 4 receptions, 108 yards. The Colts defense is okay, but they're not great. And the last time he had Watson was his best game, almost 25 fantasy points.
All right. I know we said we weren't talking about Desmond Ridder. Are we allowed to talk about Desmond Ridder's number 1 wide receiver, Drake London?
Of course.
Matthew, what you got?
Is that his number 1 wide receiver, or is it like, Mac Hollins? It's hard to tell with the.
It's
Definitely
Drake
not
London.
Matt Hollins.
It's Drake London. You got him just outside your top 20.
I am at wide receiver 23. You're absolutely right. Look, last 5 games, they've actually started to use Drake London. Shocker. He's averaging over 8 targets a game. It's a nice matchup with the Buccaneers, as Tampa Bay has allowed the 7th most yards per game to wide receivers. I don't know. I think we're officially on Taylor Heineke watch. Lawrence Jackson.
Still?
I'll tell you who's on Taylor Heineke watch.
Dude, Ridder was brutal last week. Admit that.
Week before he was
And
good.
what?
Admit it, Lawrence.
In week 1, I said it's 15 to 18 good. You said not in fantasy. Well, he was a top 10 quarterback in fantasy last week. What do we want here? Desmond Ridder, we want him to throw the ball to Drake London or not.
Right, we do.
That's what we want.
And Kyle Pitts.
Look,
and Bijan Robinson.
I'll tell you
We want him to stop handing off to Tyler Algier.
I'll tell you
or
who's
Jonnu Smith, or throwing to Jonnu Smith.
I will tell you who's on Taylor Heineke watch. Dan in Mexico in our show league, who I'm facing today, is starting Taylor Heineke. Well, he was the last time I checked.
He's starting Taylor
Against me.
Heineke?
Yes, he had him in the lineup against me. Taylor Heineke. So I don't know what he knows.
I need to address Dan in Mexico. This poor kid. So he's a graphics production assistant on our team, right? He's the nicest kid in the world, right? He works his ass off for the show. And yet he was in Mexico for the draft.
Oh.
And so he kept sniping like me and everyone else because he watches the show every day, all right? So he knows all of our sleepers, everyone he likes. And so we kept beating him up, just because it's fun. Dan in Mexico, that was his team name.
Yeah.
This poor kid. And now here's Lawrence Jackson throwing him under the bus, saying he's starting a backup quarterback.
We was talking Taylor Heineke. I figured we'd give a shout out to Dan in Mexico.
Dan in Mexico, we're bringing you back dollaritas.
We're pulling
cheers
for you,
to
buddy.
And look, I also picked up Tyrod Taylor so he couldn't get him because I saw he only had 1 quarterback.
That move right there. But hey, Lawrence.
Anyway, just to be clear, I don't know how Jay and Michael feel, but Dan in Mexico, you're playing Lawrence today. I am rooting for you.
Oh, no, definitely.
I'm hashtag Dan in Mexico
Let's go,
today.
baby.
But Lawrence, keep the ball. Talk up DJ Moore with no Justin Fields.
Yeah, no Justin Fields. We talked about our boy T-Bag out of D2 who's
Dog.
going to get the score today.
Gotta stop
right?
calling him out. I'm begging
Check
you.
Look, he played most of the game. He played most of the game last week when Justin Fields went out with the injured thumb on his throwing hand. Now, he didn't go off for 230 like he did a couple of weeks ago. That's an anomaly, right? That game, Last week, he still ended with 8 targets, 5 receptions, 51 yards. PPR, that's 10 points. Now, if he ends up with something like that today, like with the circumstances, like you'll kind of take it. Like you'll be happy with 10 to 12 points. So, but I understand the ranking of him in the 20s with Fields. He'd be more like in the teens.
All right, Jay, welcome back, Deontay Johnson.
By the way, can I just ask a question of the group? Yay or nay, by a show of applause, on the nickname Teabag for Tyson Bagent. Are we on board with Teabag?
Oh, they loud as hell for that.
As a nickname?
Northeast Philadelphia has spoken.
Philadelphia has spoken. Let's go, Teabag. Again, like Lipton, when you want to make tea for like your aunt or your grandma.
No, I follow you. Yeah, I follow you.
100%.
Welcome back to
Deontay Johnson.
Please change the subject, please.
All right.
Yeah.
Deontay Johnson.
Look, good luck with that.
Yeah. So George Pickens gets all the attention. He has the clippable highlights. But Deontay Johnson, I think, will be the number 1 receiver in Pittsburgh going forward. He's the cleaner route runner. He's the guy that Pickett showed a lot of rapport with in Week 1 against San Francisco before he went down. So I think that Deontay Johnson is going to be a viable low-end wide receiver too the rest of the way.
All right, let's move on to the tight end position, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how we feeling about Dallas Goedert?
He been turning up.
Matthew, he's your tight end 5 this week. Tell us why.
Well, since week 2, he's good at football. You're damn right.
That's all you need to know.
That's right,
all
Sean.
All you need to know.
He's definitely damn good at football. He's also got a 21% target share since week 2. So it's not just you, Sean, but also Jalen Hurts who realizes he is good at football. He's had at least 7 targets in 4 or 5 games over that stretch. And by the way, both tight ends who saw at least 7 targets against the Dolphins this year scored 16 or more fantasy points. That was Hunter Henry and Darren Waller, both of whom Dallas Goedert is better than. So, yeah, give me tight end 5 for Dallas Goedert tonight.
Yeah. And speaking of tight ends, I got Darren Waller here, who Dallas Goedert is definitely better than. I like him here against the Commanders. 7 targets in 3 of the last 4 games. The Commanders have allowed a touchdown to a tight end in 2 of their in their last 2 games. So I like Waller this week. He himself would have scored at the end and boosted his fantasy points had he not had he got the PI call at the end versus the Bills. So we like Darren Waller this week.
Yep. And for me, George Kittle, who didn't really do anything last week against Cleveland, expecting him to have a big bounce-back game. No Deebo Samuel. I think Brock Purdy will be better and a much easier defense going against.
All right, let's take us another break. We're coming back. We're going to have, I think, the best, and by best I mean worst, beer goggle segment. But first, that moment you realize who you're going to have to start doing by Mageddon. Well done.
There you
well
go.
Done.
Nice job, Adel.
New profile pick alert.
Yeah. I'm going to need another Dollarita.
Our Halloween costume for this year. That's pretty good. Good luck being that suave and debonair.
Old, but still has value.
You still got it.
Yeah.
You're an Adam Thielen.
There you go. And that's the. There it
He
is.
pulled it off well.
Yeah.
Really terrifying.
He got the fresh
stuff.
berry fade going on.
That's Joe, and he. I got to be honest. He's rocking it all. There he is. There. Look at him. What's up? Like, seriously, which one is which?
I'm the real Matthew Berry.
Let me ask you this: what did this costume cost you?
$4.99.
That's more than I thought it was. How long did it take you to put together?
About 15 minutes.
I appreciate that. And now that you've been here at the Applebee's looking as suave as you do, have ladies just been coming up to you left and right, just throwing their numbers at you?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. 100%.
It's a good look. It's a good look as well. How are you doing in your fantasy league this year?
It's more for my knowledge, my fantasy football knowledge that they like more than my looks, I've noticed.
I believe that. Believe me, I live that life. How's your fantasy life going this year?
Well, with all the advice that you guys have given me, I'm 2-4 this year. Thank you.
All right, you got 2 wins.
You're
all
on
right,
a
there
roll,
you go.
baby. You're on a roll.
I got a question for you.
What do you got?
It's tough with bye weeks and injuries. Jameson Williams or Julio Jones?
Oh, good Lord. I'm going to say Jameson Williams just because I think he'll play today. I don't know that Julio's even going to get a lot of looks, but I'm going to go with Jameson Williams because at least what you're hoping there is that he catches the long one.
Yeah, not just throughout the Julio because, he's new to the Eagles now.
He is new to the Eagles. It's
okay.
Listen, there's no bigger Julio Jones fan than me,
There
and
you
I'm
go,
telling
right?
you, Jameson Williams
right.
today.
This
We'll
is true.
see
Yeah, I
what
mean,
happens.
again, the game's tonight, so who knows if Julio's even active. I wouldn't want to hope that he's active and then he's not even active and then you're stuck on Sunday night.
You think Mike Thomas?
Oh, that Jay Croucher?
Well done. Well done.
I just walk around the streets of America. People come up to me saying, Michael Thomas. Hey, look, if you want 5 catches for 50 yards and no touchdowns, there's no one better in America than Michael Thomas. He's your man.
He scored last week, though. He
did.
scored.
Now
he
we're in a
scored.
new world. We're in a brave new world.
Brand new world. Brand new world.
right,
How many leagues are you in?
Just one.
Just one.
Yeah.
And you're 2-4.
So I put it all on you guys.
But you look great.
Yeah, thank you.
You look
Thank
great. I'm buying your meal today.
Thank you.
Order up.
Thank you.
And
enjoy the margaritas.
thanks for coming
Enjoy
along, brother.
Philadelphia. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
I watch every day. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I feel like you need about $5 Ritas in order to start Julio Jones. And with that,
There you
it's
go.
time for dollar Ritas. How many dollar Ritas have you had?
I've lost track.
Yeah. You know how
Jay
many
was
you've
supposed
had?
to keep track. Jay's
You know
keeping
how
the
many
score.
This is 4, and this is going to be 5 to go over the 4.5.
I'll go over the
what
4.5.
about
The over
Lawrence, how many
cash.
have you had?
I'm going to just say 5 no matter what.
Okay. I don't know how
Whether
many
it's
I've
8
had.
or 2, I'm going to just say 5.
I'll
All
just
Let's-
just legit say, just in all seriousness, they go down really easy.
They really
and you're
do.
like, you don't like, there's no alcohol in
sneak
this.
up
And
on
then
you.
you're like, oh my God, yes there is.
They sneak up on you.
I literally order pretzels to try to sober up a little bit.
Good luck
The
with
pretzels
that.
are really good too.
Good luck with that. It's all good. Waffle fries, everything's good here.
Yeah.
Eating good in the neighborhood.
Eating good in the neighborhood.
All
That's
right.
exactly what we're doing.
Kadarius Toney, Matthew, before you take that sip, how many dollar Ritas do you need to start Kadarius Toney?
Boy, oh boy. I'd need 4. I want 4 Dollaritas. I mean, I'm drunk enough right now that I actually might start Kadarius Toney. That's how much I'd want to be. I'm just saying, he's had an under 30% snap rate this season. He's had 35 or fewer receiving yards in every game. He's had an under 12% target share. It just, I just feel like the Chiefs, they spread it around so much, and that you're better off taking a shot with Rashee Rice. I'd even rather, I'll be honest with you, I'd rather take a shot on Mecole Hardman of them trying to scheme something up for Hardman to welcome him back than I would Kadarius Toney today.
He mentioned Jay Rice. He
they're
mentioned
not using
Rashee
him.
Rice, Jay. How many dollar Ritas for Rashee Rice?
$3 Raiders for Rashee Rice. I just worry as well about the fact that he only had 4 targets last week. Just have no idea about this offense. He's going to break out at some point, but not sure whenever that week's going to be.
Josh Palmer.
Josh Palmer, I'm going to say $3 Eaters. In 3 straight games, he has at least 60 yards in 3 receptions. Nothing crazy, but he's getting 7 targets in those last 3 games. Second receiver to Keenan Allen.
Moving on to Commanders Giants. Matthew, Curtis Samuel's a thing. How many dollar Ritas do you need to start Curtis Samuel.
How many pretzel loaves do you need to start Curtis Samuel, Matthew? In your mouth.
He's so
That man
relaxed.
is murdering
He's
those
in his
pretzels.
element right now.
They're tasty.
Is Curtis Samuel tasty?
The pretzels are honestly tastier than Curtis Samuel. I'd want $3 Doritos, honestly. Look, here's the positives. He's had at least 50 receiving yards in 4 to 6 games this year. He has scored in back-to-back games. However, he's also had 5 or fewer targets in 4 to 6 games this year. He's only had 1 game with 60 more receiving yards. He's kind of got this 40 to 50-yard floor, and you're hoping for a touchdown. He's just not a guy that I would love to hope for a touchdown. So he's my wide receiver 35. I'd need $3 Doritos. Like, you basically, it's not a great defense for the Giants. You're hoping for a score here. I don't know what the odds are.
You told no lies about these pretzels.
Right?
They go hard.
I'm just saying.
Jay, Wan'Dale Robinson.
$4 Doritos for Wan'Dale Robinson. So where Matthew's at right now, basically. I think he is the wide receiver that you want on the New York Giants, but again, that's a complicated sentence because you don't really want a wide receiver on the New York Giants. I think you can do worse with Bipocalypse going against the Washington secondary, but you're not excited about Wan'Dale Robinson.
Lawrence, I'm starting Logan Thomas. Tell me something good.
Well, you're starting Logan Thomas, but I would actually need $4 Doritos to start him. His statistics week in, week out is like a seesaw, up and down. Now, the Giants are 15th against tight ends in fantasy, so that's middle of the pack, but I don't think they know who they want to make their guy or their second guy. And Logan Thomas last week, 1 catch, 2 yards. Week before that, 77 yards. Too scary for me.
Matthew, DJ Moore with T-Bag at quarterback.
Just $2 Doritos. I mean, look, last week with Tyson Bagent, we talked about this, a 43% target share. Again, small sample size here. He's had at least 8 or more targets in 3 straight games. We don't know what we're going to get in Bagent, so, I'm a little nervous, but I just think talent and volume get him there. Just $2 Doritos for me to start DJ Moore, who's my wide receiver, 22. Let's go T-Bag.
There's 2 more guys, but what about Cole Kmet?
Let's go T-Bag. 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 T-Bag.
This man got a T-Bag.
Living the dream. Living the dream.
Yeah.
I would just like to say I've enjoyed my time at NBC Sports. I thank everyone at NBC Sports for the opportunity. And I look forward to telling you where my next adventure will be shortly.
You just got here, dog. Cole Kmet.
$0 Doritos for K-Bag. Cole Kmet. He's in this landscape.
K-Bag, I like that. K-Bag.
Yeah, they kind of slipped by a few people. I just think in this landscape with the amount of tight ends on bye, Cole Kmet gets targeted. He's got 3 touchdowns in the past 3 weeks.
Foreman.
We're going with the theme, D-Bag, Deontay Foreman. I only need $2 Doritos. I only need $2 Doritos to start. I only need $2 Doritos to start Deontay Foreman. I don't know where Matthew Berry went. Matthew's off the
Nice
set.
job, Lawrence. Nice job.
I'm
Nice
just going
job.
with the flow right here.
I'm glad you ain't had no pretzel, boy. That'd have been dangerous. He couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't take it anymore.
He's lost it.
He couldn't take it anymore.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but, yeah.
People ask me, why do I love Lawrence Jackson? That's why I love Lawrence Jackson.
Deontay Foreman, only $2 Doritos, folks.
Yeah. D-Bag, you said.
Thanks, Lawrence.
You know what, Lawrence? Just put yourself in great position for pickup lines. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You're the leader going into pickup lines.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it with Sunday Night Football here on NBC, right? Let's talk the 2 quarterbacks. I'm gonna go. I like my plus money.
Yes, sir.
Right, Matthew. This one is gonna be big. I gotta go big. Both Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts will both have a 50-yard completion at plus 900. It sound crazy, right? Sound crazy. But Miami and Philly have the 19th and 20th ranked pass defense, respectively. Tua and Jalen have both done this in 2 of the 6 games. In 2 other games, they've both had completions of 47 yards or more. So they're basically doing this every single game. And fantasy guys like to talk about air yards. That's fluff. I like completed air yards. And Tua and Jalen Hurts are 6th and 7th in that category. I put this bet in myself. Pick it up, Matthew.
That's strong. That's strong. All right,
Damn,
Jay,
that is strong.
follow
That
that
is
up.
strong.
We go big.
Plus 900 on DraftKings. I like that.
All right, Jay, what you got?
All right, Jay.
Hey, who likes Hassan Reddick? Does anyone like Hassan
Yeah,
Reddick?
yeah.
I like him too. Good football player. Over 0.25 sacks for Hassan Reddick, Matthews. Plus money, plus 120. He's had 5.5 sacks his past 3 weeks. Had 16 sacks last season. All he has to do is get half a sack in primetime against an offensive line missing Teron Armstead. I think that they have overachieved. I don't think this is a good offensive line in Miami. And Hassan Reddick, one of the best pass rushers in football, will get half a sack tonight.
All right. Wow, that's a good one. All right, Matthew, so listen. You're all liquored up. You're feeling good.
I am.
You got 2 guys spitting some serious game at you.
I mean, Jay's very
Jay's
handsome.
been looking good the whole show.
Jay's
but
very
Lawrence
handsome.
makes you laugh.
He really does.
But Jay is,
They both do.
You know,
Like,
they both
again,
have good personalities.
As I've said before, like both pickup lines work. Like I may choose one and then the other one late at night hit him up. Like, where you at?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come through.
Sliding those DMs.
Yeah, exactly. Netflix and chill. So, come on, let's pick. Come on,
Jay,
dude. I love that bet. I'm gonna place that bet, but I'm picking Jay Croucher and Hassan Reddick in Philadelphia. Come on, come on.
Smart man.
Obviously, we're doing that.
Smart man.
Give me Hassan Reddick.
Smart man.
One night in Philadelphia,
Yeah,
Jay
let's do
Croucher,
it.
you and
Yeah.
I.
Yep.
You a
Knocked off
done deal
Buffalo,
now.
Philly
Have another Dollarita.
One
There you
more
go.
ship.
Gonna have to.
Just one more ship. Cheers. Cheers. Oh my gosh. Thank God I got to drive home.
Thank God.
You
we
got
have to
work
go to
later.
break.
You got work later.
No,
you got football night in America later. You gonna be
They're
all
not
right?
putting-
We got
they're-
one more segment.
they're
Last call's coming up.
They're firing me between now and 7 o'clock tonight. Stop it. I'm not going to be on tonight.
Here they come, the 76ers, because basketball season is almost here.
Yeah.
And that means one thing is draft season. Get the Rotoworld Basketball Draft Guide, which includes all the rankings, player outlooks, and projections you need to win your league this year. Go to NBCSports.com to get your draft guide now and use code PRESEASON25 to save 25% off and receive a $10 Fanatics e-gift card. All right, fellas, let's finish strong with some bar trivia. The answers to tomorrow's trivia questions today.
Yeah.
But are we doing a question first?
We have 2 questions.
All right, what do we got?
Okay, sorry. 2 questions. Let's go.
My name's Harold from Iowa.
I like the drip.
Harold from Iowa.
I like the
All
drip.
right.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up?
Lawrence, I got to say, man, you got some Jazzy Jeff vibes going on, bro, right now. I'm sorry to tell you, but.
You one of them guys.
All right, so let's have point PPR, right? I need 2 or 3 players. Ramondre Stevenson, Najee Harris, or James Cook?
You're definitely starting James Cook. I kind of like Ramon. I know Ramondre's been awful, but we saw some signs of life last week. I like him better than Najee Harris, guys.
I would agree.
Yeah, the Bills' defense just isn't what it was a month ago with all their injuries as well. So I think Ramondre's the guy.
All right, awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
man.
it.
Good luck to
We
you.
got
Thanks
one
for
more
coming
last
out.
question of the day.
Oh,
you bought the secret weapon.
there we go.
We can't lose this week.
Nah.
We can't lose this week.
Absolutely not.
This is our week.
Let's go. Keep pounding. Keep pounding.
I'm Eric. This is Mason.
Hey, Mason.
This is incredibly important. I'm playing my wife in fantasy.
wow.
She is undefeated.
Of course.
We got to take her down.
Of course.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right, full PPR, Wandale or Pickens?
I really like Wandale this week. I really like Wandale. I mean, Pickens is, unquote, the obvious guy, but I'm actually going to go off the board and say Wandale Robinson in full PPR.
Listen to the man. Let's go.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like Wandale as well. Wandale's their wide receiver 1. Pickens is their wide receiver 2.
I would just say your wife is undefeated. I don't know where she is and what the projections say. I think Pickens is the home run play. Wandale is more the floor play. But
I'm like a slight favorite. 52.
Then let's go Wandale.
Yeah,
Wandale.
you the favorite.
All right.
How old is Mason?
Appreciate you, brother. Nice to see you,
Mason.
Mason.
Mason, you want to make your TV debut? Look right there, Mason. Mason, can you look right
Hey,
and
there
just
you
wave?
go.
Mason, can you wave?
There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go,
You're
Mason.
definitely getting the win today.
There we go.
You are definitely getting
awesome.
the win today.
You got the win. You get the
Thank you.
W.
Thank you, man.
All right, hey, let's
All
knock
right.
out this bar trivia
Let's do
real
it.
quick. Hey, Lawrence is now your leader season long.
very
Perhaps you got some catching up to do.
Did you hear that? They booed. They were upset that you're the season leader, Lawrence.
Well, you
Not
know,
the people's
I-
favorite.
I'm the season leader. I'm about to make him a
So
believer.
so you start. More passing yards, Lawrence. Hoyer or Tyson Badgett?
Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer.
Come on, man. You got
Tyson Bagent. Give me T-Bag.
You got to. More receiving yards, Amari Cooper or Michael Pittman Jr.?
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper.
Cooper.
More total yards, Ramondre Stevenson or James Cook?
Cook.
Cook.
Saquon, did he score a touchdown against your Commanders?
No.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
More receiving yards, Mike Evans or Drake London?
Drake London.
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans.
More fantasy points, Lamar Jackson or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Lamar.
Lamar.
You already know.
More receptions, Puka or Deontay Johnson?
Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua.
Puka.
More receiving yards, this should be easy, Metcalf or Lockett?
Lockett.
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 No, I don't think we're going to see Metcalf at all. More fantasy points, Jordan Love or Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Jordan Love.
More passing yards, Mahomes or Herbert?
Herbert.
Mahomes.
Ooh, Mahomes.
Ooh, more total yards, Raheem Mostert or DeAndre Swift?
I'm going Swift. Like, dead ass serious DeAndre Swift.
Swift for me. Swift.
Yeah, come on, I'm in Philly.
We're
Swift.
trying to get out of here, right? More receiving yards, George Kittle or TJ Hawkinson?
TJ Hawkinson.
Hawkinson.
All right, hey, before we wrap this up, before we say goodbye, Matthew, you guys named the weekday show Fantasy Football Happy Hour. The Sunday show that I get to do with you guys, Fantasy Football Pregame. Isn't this the show that you dreamed of when you came to NBC?
100%. I mean, the fact of the matter is, thank you. Thank you. In all seriousness, and I know you went through this too, my friend, because you and I have known each other a long time.
Mm-hmm.
When you leave ESPN and the power of those 4 letters, you're like, people going to find me? What's going on? And I have to tell you, coming to NBC and being able to do a show where I believe this is how people bet on sports, this is how people play fantasy football. They're at a bar, they're at a restaurant, they're eating good in the neighborhood, and they're feeling like, hey, they're with good friends and family, they're with husbands and wives, they bring their kids, and they're like, this is how you do it. You drink Dollaritas, and you argue about whether or not you can start Zach Moss. You know what I mean? Like, that's fantasy football, and this is the embodiment, I should say, of, I've had many of these, of what I believe fantasy football is and what this show is. So thank you, Michael. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Lawrence.
No
thank
doubt.
you, Danielle and Damien. Thank you, Steven and the crew back home in Stanford. Thank you, Philadelphia. Thank you.
We have set the bar high. You don't do this all the time now.
No,
you gotta do this all the time now.
Thank you so much to Applebee's as well. They've been great partners ever since we started the show. They've been unbelievable partners, and we couldn't be more thrilled. Thank you to everyone
here. This has been
here.
so much fun. Like, it is such a blessing to be able to do this and call it work, fellas. Like,
who you telling? I'm still a rookie in the game. This is incredible. I'm talking about football right now. What are we talking about, man?
Go get that week 7. Thank you, Philly. Of course, tune in tonight to Sunday Night Football. You'll see sober Matthew Berry. Matthew, you always sign us off the same way. It's special now.
Right,
Sign us
100%.
off.
It's closing time for us, which means you don't have to go home. But unfortunately, you can't stay here on air. Applebee's, we're going to keep it going here. For Lawrence J. and Michael and Matthew, peace out. Go get a win.